Hi.
Oh my God.
That's okay.
We're off to a great start.
Waiting until we get the Facebook Live feed. There it is. Oh my God. Yeah, it actually did show a little bit of middle finger action.
That's how we greet each other.
So, you want double finger guns? You're getting double finger guns in.
Welcome to the Fantasy Debate with Sam and Tate. I'm Sam Holt, and I'm joined as always by Derek Tate. We are brought to you by Fantasy Focused and sponsored by the Original Hooters. Derek Tate, how are you today?
I'm fantastic, but I'm not as good as you are because you just came back from ESPN Studios in Bristol. You actually braved the weather to be able to go there, but not to Detroit to come see your boy, right?
Well, the weather was cold, but it wasn't miserable. So I think it's probably miserable where you are, just because you always say that it's kind of miserable.
Well, we got a couple inches of snow today, so yeah.
Well, yeah. See, it was cold in Bristol, but it was bearable because, I mean, we were inside the entire time. But then also when I came back home, I immediately had to change getting off the plane because it was so hot. So glad to be back in California.
Let's go. What do we got on today's docket, Sam?
Today's docket, we got a couple things to go through. Some duds of the week from last week, as well as some booms, and basically how we see them progressing going forward. And then going into week 10, we have 6 teams on a bye. We're going to be saying that a lot, 6 teams on a bye. So if you want to make it a drinking game, go ahead and do it. We're happy to join you guys. As both Derek and I have our wines tonight, Wine Wednesday, cheers. And we'll be running through those and hopefully getting you guys some really good starts for week 10.
What's better, Taco Tuesday or Wine Wednesday?
Ooh, I'm going to say Taco Tuesday because I always prefer food over drinks.
I'm going Wine Wednesday. I can always have tacos on Wednesday as well.
But also,
you got to make a lot of them.
This is true, but also I have heard, as I was just on the East Coast, they have really bad Mexican food. I live in California. There's good Mexican food everywhere.
Stop moving in. Actually, I found one up here. I found a nice place up here in Cadillac that does great Mexican food. Cadillac, Michigan, by the way, for those of you who don't know Cadillac off the top of your head. But unfortunately, the place got raided and was shut down because of immigration stuff.
Oh, well, I bet the food was great then.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was just... And they had these big old 32-ounce beers on happy hour that were only like $3. Gotta love.
Jeez. I love it when stuff is on sale.
Gotta love the cost of living here in Cadillac.
Yes. We're joined by some of our favorite followers. Nick, great to see you. What's up?
What up, Nick?
And Greg checking in. Hey, Greg, how's it going? And then Will, as always, Will Jenkins. Love to see you every Wednesday. Hope you're doing well.
I just want to say, I want to start giving some of them nicknames like Nick Bird and Nick, like, the old Nickelodeon theme. And then you got Will Jackson, the Free Willy. Sorry. Anyway.
Oh, my gosh. Well, actually, Nick is going to start us off with our first of the day. So he pulled off a massive trade today. A guy in my league is on a 3-game losing streak. That sucks. And had half of his team on bye this week. He really just needed startable bodies, so I offered.
Oh, I love the ...
I love the ... keeping us on the edge of our seats, Nick. Jeez, what are we supposed to do now?
We're supposed to move on with our agenda, possibly? Oh, but we got it. Nick coming through in the... Oh, no.
Ty Johnson, Marlon Mack, and Woods for Kamara.
Ooh, yeah, that's a little tasty. I mean, you got Bob Woods, but Kamara...
But Robert Woods hasn't done everything that he's done as of last year, I mean, I think that the Rams offense hasn't been fully clicking as much as they did last year, making all their receivers so startable week to week. I mean, for me in a league, I picked up Woods because Cooks has a concussion, so he's likely not going to play this week. But even still, I think this is a great trade.
So you're willing to give up Kamara for these 3 pieces?
No, I'm thinking he got Kamara.
Oh, if you get Kamara, then yeah.
I'm guessing he got.
Yeah, you're the one. Yeah, Nick just confirmed. You're the one that got Kamara. Then hell yeah.
Hell yes. See, I knew that Nick...
start things off here, Sam.
I know. And also I knew that reading that, I read it the right order because there's no way Nick would do the opposite. He's one of our avid listeners. He knows better.
Yeah, Nick. I mean...
Good job, buddy. That's awesome.
Well done.
So this week, let's just start right off really quickly with our dud players. Aaron Jones. Hurt me deep. He cut me deep. I needed at least just measly 10 points out of him. That was not much to ask. I didn't think so. Even in standard, got nothing out of him this week. It was horrible.
He's the one that goes, your soul is mine. Like after his, 30, 40-point performance the week prior. In fact, it could have been that much better because he stepped out of bounds at like the 10-yard line, could have had 3 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah.
However, yeah, I mean, it was a head-scratching performance for the Packers in general. They had Davante Adams back, yet the offense posted and produced 0 points. Grand total is 0 in the first half.
Yeah.
And only 11 for the entire game. So, I mean, it's hard to figure it out, though. The Chargers have talent the entire season, but I mean, is this concerning for the Packers, or are you still starting all your Packers with confidence?
I mean,
I'm fine with them. I think it was just a bad game. They just got.
I think it was a bad game. They've got a good matchup this week against Carolina. I think this was a bounce back game. Some Packers fans, and I'm going to say these were Packers fans because I know they were, said that this was their throwaway game. I don't think teams go in week to week thinking this is the week we want to win. This is the week we want to throw it away.
I mean, I don't go to bed at night thinking I'm going to go ahead and shit the bed and I'm just going to change.
Have you done that before?
No, I've never gone to bed with that approach. I've just been, all I'm saying, I'm getting so nervous because I'm talking about the things that actually happened in my life. But no.
This one time Derek shit the bed.
But no, Wine Wednesday's getting to me. But I'm just simply saying that's a weak ass thing to say. Oh, we went into this thinking it's our throwaway game. Come on. You guys are 7-1 and could potentially stay in contention to lock up like a bye and home field advantage if the San Francisco 49ers begin to falter. So I think that's a complete crap excuse. You just got your asses handed to you.
No, it is. But then in the same breath, this next week, they're not going to do the exact same thing. Also, it was good to see Davante Adams there, though he didn't produce what you wanted him to. What you do like is that he had 11 targets. So right back in the mix, right back in the scheme. So it was good to just see him at least get that.
He looked like he was running a lot of short routes, and for good reason, because they probably didn't want him to try to push that injured toe too much. So I think that they were more so kind of playing it safe with him. But I expect to see better things. If you see 11 targets and you're week back from a month off, things could be worse. So he didn't re-aggravate the injury like Adam Thielen. So expect better days ahead from Davante Adams.
Which we will get to Adam Thielen in just a little bit. So basically, with our Packers going forward, we're talking Aaron Jones and Davante Adams. Going forward, we do see better days ahead. I definitely do, especially this week. They're going to be much better starts, so definitely thinking better days ahead for them. However, as for the rest of the Packers, I'm dropping MVS in a couple leagues just because he's going to see nothing going forward with Adams back.
I don't think about that. I think that if you liked Adams' big playability beforehand, that you're still going to like his big playability with Davante Adams on the other side, drawing some of the attention away from him. So I don't think that I just drop MVS without any second thoughts. Now, depending on your roster, depending on the league format, et cetera, I still am going to be probably holding MVS in most scenarios. However, I do see your point that if Adams isn't even producing at a wide receiver 1 level and MVS never really had a huge breakout game or wasn't fantastic the entire time without Davante Adams stealing away targets and such while he was on the shelf, then what is MVS's upside? It makes you go, you're basically flipping a coin and hoping he makes a big play. Because otherwise, you're coming up with a 20 or 30-yard performance, which isn't going to get it done.
No, absolutely not. Not going to get it done. So let's move on to a couple of other duds of the week. Stephon Diggs, and this is going to roll right into Adam Thielen talk. He did not perform the way we wanted him to this week.
That's correct. Yeah, I mean, the entire Vikings offense, what we saw Adam Thielen for a series or two.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly. I think
I saw him for about 7 snaps, and then they pulled him off. And then Stephon Diggs was just a ghost. Maybe he was the ghost that Sam Darnold saw a couple weeks ago. But he was not there. 2.6 fantasy points. 1 reception.
Sam Darnold lost his ghost and his black cat in the span of a week. So, poor bastard. But when it comes to Stephon Diggs, why is everybody surprised? Didn't we see him get off to a horrible start and even some trade rumors start to swirl because of his probably unhappiness and involvement in this offense and the production of Kirk Cousins. This should not be shocking when he lays an egg. He seems to be a very boom or bust type of player. So no offense to Diggs, who I think is actually one of the most talented route runners in the NFL. It's just you're going to have these up and down games. There's going to be peaks and valleys.
Sure. But then knowing full well that Thielen will not be in this week, as he did re-injure his hamstring, that doesn't give you anything to think, oh, well, maybe flex start at least for Diggs?
Oh, it's definitely you're still always considering starting Diggs. I mean, that's always going to be the case. And if one thing Kirk Cousins proved is that when his matchup is favorable, he can produce. I mean, there was a point where I think he had multiple 300-yard passing games with multiple 3+ score type games. So you're going to get that from time to time. It's going to be matchup based a lot of times. And if Thielen's not there to drag attention away or at least keep opposing secondaries honest, then you can focus on Diggs. And answer me this question. If Thielen's not playing, who else outside of Stephon Diggs in the passing game really scares you?
I mean,
B.C. Johnson, Laquan Treadwell, Irv Smith Jr., Kyle Rudolph? No.
I mean, not necessarily, no. And I think if anything, maybe a couple more targets could go to Kyle Rudolph because Kirk Cousins is going to get those yards. He is going to start throwing more. But I don't know. It's just this week also against Dallas. Dallas has been kind of playing out of their minds. I don't know if it's an amazing matchup for them.
Dasher, Dancer, Prixon. Damn it! I tried to go all Rudolph for the red-nosed reindeer names. Completely screwed it up. Let's go ahead and move on. We do have some questions, though, it looks like.
Yes, we do have a couple questions.
I'll just go ahead and shut up.
Okay. Brady Carlson asks us, Coleman, Jones, or Parker? And he did reply and said Ronald Jones. So that is our Jones to pick from of the Joneses. So of those three, flex, full PPR, which are you picking?
So with Preston Williams now going on IR, we didn't get a chance to mention that yet, but he's on IR, had his best game of the season, which sucks because I actually loved what he's done his entire season this year, despite the dumpster fire that the Miami Dolphins are. And then Rojo's just got named the starter, and we saw that with 18 carries last week to Peyton Barber's 4. So good option. Now he's actually a viable option for you, Brady, but it's still Tevin Coleman for me. 100%.
Coleman. Yes, of those three, I completely agree. I'm excited to see Ronald Jones get some of the workload. That is going to be exciting to see him develop. But of those three, I definitely would start Coleman this week.
Against Arizona, it is tempting to start Rojo, though. It really
it's close. Is. Yeah, I mean, I think that he's a really great DFS play for low buy. But, I mean, of those three, I'm going to agree with Tarek and definitely going to go with Coleman for you there.
One go.
And we got the thumbs up from Brady. So
proud of your sensei. Sorry.
Good luck to you this week in your week 10, Brady Carlson. We appreciate
you. Movie I'm quoting Napoleon Dynamite. Come on, keep up.
I'm talking to Brady. You're just talking to yourself.
I'm talking to the audience. So continue though.
Anyways.
Sorry, I didn't know where to let you go with that one. My apologies, dog.
Nick Bird's going to throw us a question to bail you out of that one.
Okay.
Thoughts on Ginn this week versus Atlanta? I need him or A.J. Brown with all my receivers on bye. That sucks to have that many receivers on bye. But again, 6 teams on a bye. It's going to happen. Cheers. Because that's our drinking game of the
night.
Yeah,
we're all screwed with the 6
teams 6 teams on a bye.
I think you can do worse this week than Tate Jr. as your wide receiver or flex or something like that. So big plays. The Atlanta secondary has been giving those up all season. Obviously, you got to pay attention to Michael Thomas. They're probably going to try to take away Michael Thomas, make Drew Brees go in a different direction, which Drew Brees is going to have no problem obliging. I would go with Ted Ginn Jr. over A.J. Brown. Tannehill's been okay. He's been certainly an improvement over Mariota, but I'm still going to go with Drew Brees now that he's back under center. I think Ted Ginn can get a big one.
Can get at least a couple targets, maybe a couple deep balls, and I think that he'll be all right. I agree with you there. Ted Ginn's a better start for me over A.J. Brown. Thanks, Nick, for your question.
A.J. Brown. Sorry.
How much wine did you have before?
No baddest man in a whole
Let's roll on with a couple more duds of the week. And this one's going to have you fired up because I know how you feel about the Bears. Allen Robinson. This is how I started off my copy on him. It's not his fault.
No, it's not A-Rob's
It's not his fault. Mitchell Trubisky threw for only 125 yards in what was a favorable matchup. This week they have another favorable matchup against the Lions. But how do you trust Allen Robinson?
Well, you can't.
Trubisky. You can't, right?
No, the answer is you can't. I mean, if you want to listen to some of the mind-blowing statistics from this past week, you mentioned the total game totals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. The Bears had 9 total yards in the first half, the lowest total of offensive output in the last 40 years for the Chicago Bears, right? They netted 1 passing yard, a single passing yard in the first half, and their first 3 possessions of the game netted -2 yards. At what point do you just say Mitchell Trubisky is absolute trash and should be benched? I mean, no offense. Mitchell Trubisky is making a lot of money, drafted very high for good reason. Nice prospect coming into the NFL. But we're now 2.5 years through his NFL career, and with the exception of a couple bright spots, he's been a very average, if not very below average quarterback. Allen Robinson is a volume play.
Yeah.
He's going to see a good volume of targets because he's the best of all the options, and he's a damn good wide receiver. And it's unfortunate that he's been stuck with Blake Bortles Jr., which is Mitchell Trubisky.
That's cute. I haven't heard that one yet.
In a Scooby-Doo bad guy type of way, if you were to say Mitchell Trubisky, who are you really, and rip off the mask, you would see Blake Bortles because that's exactly what he is.
Ooh. Them's fighting words, but I would love to put together a Photoshop picture for you of that analogy because I think that is tasty. Pretty accurate right there. That's
what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to hot take it.
Hashtag hot take.
Hot Tate it.
Oh my God. Don't ruin it. Now, I know that you've also...
I actually thought that was pretty good analysis.
That was pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty good. Now, we've had some discussion about the coaching there and Matt Nagy. Do you honestly see them benching Trubisky and moving forward with a second-string quarterback?
Chase Daniel?
Yeah.
Or Tyler Bray? They should if they want to try to salvage their season.
Do you see in the offseason them making a coaching switch?
They should. They should. All right. So, or I'll tell you this. I'm not going to – Matt Nagy has certainly made a ton of coaching mistakes, right? I think so. I think he's done enough to be warranted with all the talent that he has on this roster from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you only have, what, is it 3 wins on the season so far?
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely grounds and has left himself exposed to potentially being ousted in the offseason, and for good reason. But if you can get him a competent quarterback, things could change. Because when I watch Mitchell Trubisky, there's no confidence in this guy. None. I mean, when he takes, whether it's a 3, 5, or 7-step drop, ball doesn't come out on time, holds the ball, pats the ball, feet get happy, like he sees I mean, you talk about seeing ghosts. I know Sam Darnold said it and maybe coined that and trademarked that term, but that's been the case with Mitchell Trubisky the entire season.
Yeah, it's not been good. If anything, it's only, I think, benefited in a way David Montgomery and his stats, just because apparently Matt Nagy's been agreeable to us and said, okay, fine, we will run the ball because apparently our quarterback can't pass. And he had 22.6 fantasy points this week.
And the week before, he had a great week. Yeah.
The week before, 24.7. So his carries have gone up. He had a touchdown last week. He had 2 touchdowns this past week. I mean, he's definitely been seeing more opportunities. So
as he should. It makes sense.
Yes. This kind of pivots us into going into the booms of the week because we've just covered everyone that,
sucked ass.
Yeah. Big dull dud was where I was going to go, but sure, we can say sucked ass. Dull dud,
yeah.
Yeah, we can use your words. Your words, not mine.
Yeah, mine are.
So going back into David Montgomery and seeing him going forward, I mean, I know as owners we were biding our time and we were wondering why did we draft him so high these last 2 weeks? Hey, we're seeing some good stuff out of this guy.
No, we've seen some great stuff out of him, and everybody was high on him for a reason in the offseason because personally, I thought he was the best running back coming out of this draft class. No disrespect. And Josh Jacobs has been better.
To my Joshua Jacobs.
Jacobs has been better up to this point. However, when I watched Montgomery play and when I was analyzing his tape, I thought he was the better player. And I think that a lot of it had to do with the fact that they were, for some reason, giving Cordero Patterson short yardage carries. They were sprinkling in Tariq Cohen. Mike Davis was stealing snaps. It made no sense why Montgomery you weren't just committing to the best, most talented player in your backfield, right?
Yeah.
So now we've seen them do that. And I think Nagy is doing that because of the fact that he's probably coaching for his job now.
Yeah.
You can't be cute about it anymore, which means, hey, I've actually got to give the best player in my backfield carries to be able to save my job. So now we've seen a very heavy dose of David Montgomery over the last 2 weeks. So I feel very confident despite this Bears offense. They're going to lay some eggs, but we're going to see plenty of David Montgomery over the second half of the season. I feel very good about him down the stretch.
And especially this week against the Lions, who have allowed the most running back points. So it's a good matchup. And like you said, if he is coaching for his job, his meal ticket is going to be David Montgomery. So let's actually jump to a couple more questions we've got. Maddie Voles, thank you for your questions. I've carried AJ Green on my roster for 10 weeks now. Carrying a heavy load right there. With this latest practice setback, am I going to regret carrying him this whole time?
This isn't a practice setback. This is complete bullshit, and it is contract related, my friend. My gut is telling me.
This sounds like a hot take. If we had a sound drop.
Gut hot take that this is all complete bullshit. AJ Green either wanted to be traded or given a contract extension before he takes the field again. Now he's dealing with an injury that he sustained on the first day of the preseason or training camp or whatever. Now he's actually capable of playing again, and they're playing hardball with AJ Green, which this dude has been the constant professional in your organization, despite of how shitty they've been over the last couple seasons, and you're not rewarding him with a contract extension. He isn't going public and saying, oh, trade me. He's been going about it the right way. And
private about it.
And the Bengals are not obliging. And he's just saying, well, why am I'm going to be a free agent next year. Why the hell am I going to risk going back on the football field? Unfortunately, Matty Bowles, I think it's screwed you and myself and any other AJ Green fantasy owners because I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he had a setback. I think that was complete bullshit. And they're trying to cover it up because...
Don't lose your voice over it, Derek. I can tell you're animated.
You heard
Sounds
that.
like you almost did. I heard it. You poor thing. Just have a sip of your wine. Let me just bring you out of this. Give you a moment. So let me set you up here. So if Matt has, been carrying the load of this AJ Green for 10 weeks and he wants to offset this, is there a way you think he can trade him off his team and see some benefit off of it? That way he feels he's getting some good out of this.
I'll ask you, who would you trade for AJ Green right now?
I think.
Would you trade Terry McLaurin?
That's a maybe. Washington's just been horrible.
You're right. They've been horrible, but
they've been horrible. I know McLaurin's like their one bright spot, but I mean, I don't know that they have the best matchups going forward. I think I looked at this last week. I mean, okay, give me another name. I'm like, he's on my line.
Courtland Sutton.
Yeah, I would trade Courtland Sutton. Oh wait, no, opposite. I would not trade.
No, don't
opposite.
trade.
Opposite. I meant the opposite. Yeah, I meant the opposite. I'm like, wait, no, I'd rather have AJ Green than Courtland Sutton. No. Okay,
I mean, I know they got Brandon Allen starting, but I mean, did you see the touchdown catch that he made this past week? I mean, Courtland Sutton's going to ball regardless of whoever's under center.
Yeah, I meant the opposite.
Okay, it's
fine. You had a moment. I'm allowed a moment. We've been drinking.
Got it. DJ Moore.
I would rather have AJ Green than DJ Moore.
Okay, Curtis Samuel. Same thing?
Nope, opposite.
I
would rather have Curtis Samuel. Absolutely. Curtis Samuel has been getting way more targets than DJ Moore. I know this because I have too much DJ Moore on my teams, and I have been upset at the people who have that Curtis Samuel. So
Jamison Crowder. The red or the white? Never gonna remember that.
White.
New England clam chowder.
Okay, I'm glad that we always have that in common. Anyways, I might want Crowder more than AJ Green right now.
Okay, so I mean that
gives you a couple names though, and
right, exactly. That's trying to say that you can, if you want to go and get if you can sell AJ Green right now for a wide receiver, low end wide receiver 2 or a wide receiver 3, I'd probably take it.
High end flex receiver, sure.
I love AJ Green, and when he is on the field, I think that AJ Green is a bona fide low end wide receiver 1. I think he's a top 12 guy whenever he's active. The problem is, I think there's a lot of risk. This is the only time that you can potentially sell him because there have been a lot of reports that he's coming back this week, but now he's not practicing. So if some jackass bites on it and gives you a wide receiver 2, I take it in a heartbeat. I would take Cortland. If I had AJ Green and I could sell him for Cortland Sutton, Terry McLaurin, any of the guys we mentioned, Jamison Crowder, I would do it right now. Get something, because otherwise he could be on IR the rest of the year and you get nothing. Sell him now if there's anybody that'll bite.
Yeah. So I hope, Matt, that answered your question. We gave you some hopefully good advice to move forward from AJ Green to part ways.
Bengals gonna bangle, dog. Yeah. Tyrell Pennell.
Tyler.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Sorry, Tyler. Derek's had a couple drinks.
Oh, I have two. Taylor?
Yeah, you said Taylor.
It's Wine Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
What's up? Okay, so Tyler, my apologies. What do we got? So we got, since we are on running backs, what are our thoughts on Singletary going forward? Running back trio is Aaron Jones, Uncle Lenny, and Singletary. Safe to start rocking him in the flex spot. So I'm assuming you got 2 running back spots immediately or automatically, and then you have to start a flex. And yes, look, we saw this week, and it's no offense to the cyborg that is Frank Gore, that has just been trucking for the better part of damn near 2 decades in an NFL backfield. But he's cooked. I mean, he got 3 consecutive carries from the 1 yard line, couldn't punch it in. And then later in that game, that same exact game, he got another carry on 4th and 1 to extend a drive and got stuffed. So Singletary got 20 carries. It almost equaled all the carries that he got the entire season prior to that. And what was it? I think it was 130 or 140 yard performance total, along with a touchdown. Singletary for me is an easy flex start, and I think you can get him. I said fart. Whoopsie. You ever see that Mortal Kombat guy in the arcades? Whoopsie. My bad. But I do think he's an automatic flex start, and then I think he's also going to be someone that you can rely on as a running back too, heading down the stretch. I mean, they got the Bills actually have a very favorable schedule against opposing running defenses.
Yeah, especially these next 2 weeks, Cleveland and Miami. Nothing more to look forward to. I mean, those are good starts. I know that Cleveland has, a couple good pieces, but those are some good weeks, and I think that Singletary is going to be great going forward there, especially also Denver's not been that awesome. Dallas has been better, but you've got a couple great weeks. You'll be seeing some good things out of him. So right. Thank you for that, Tyler. We almost jumped over another question.
We almost did, but I mean, you are going to catch that. That's all you.
Yeah,
I stuck at the board.
I'm going to make sure we stay in order. Brady Carlson with another question for you. Should I trade Saquon for Chris Godwin and Chris Carson? Because, I mean, Chris's are always nice people. Or Kenny Golladay and Carson or Cooper and Carson?
Okay.
So you're wondering if you should get rid of Saquon and then pull out some value out of him with Godwin and Carson. I can see that. Or Golladay and Carson, or Cooper and Carson. So I'm guessing you're in need of a receiver, which is why you're even looking for this trade.
And you're trying to sell high on Chris Godwin?
He's saying, should I trade
for Godwin? Okay.
Yeah, he's trading Saquon for Godwin. I like the matchup of Godwin and Carson more than Cooper and Carson. Are you going to go opposite?
No. I'm going to go Golladay and Carson, because think about it. The Detroit Lions can't run the football, right? They've lost Kerryon Johnson, and no disrespect to Ty Johnson or any of the other backs on the Detroit roster, but they're really struggling to run the football right now, and which means they're leaning on Matt Stafford to be able to carry them and keep them competitive, which he has done, by the way.
Yeah,
Stafford's a top 10 quarterback in fantasy right now, and he's flying way under the radar, getting no love, no respect.
We can give him some love. We love you, Matty Stafford.
I love the Matty Staff piece. But if you could trade Saquon and the options are for Godwin and Chris Carson or Galladay and Chris Carson, I'd probably rather have, I mean, Amari Cooper and Carson would be the one I want, but would I settle for Galladay and Carson or Galladay and Carson? Yeah, I would settle for any of those two options along with Carson. I would. If I had to nail it down to one, Godwin. I still think Godwin's having a hell of a year. And even though he hasn't had a big week over the last 2 weeks, I still think Godwin's going to have a better back half of the year than Galladay will.
Yeah.
Or do you think the opposite? Or do you? I mean, like,
no. I'm
my one. Cooper and Carson's my one. Godwin and Carson 2. Galladay and Carson 3.
Yeah, I can see that. I think I'm going to go Godwin and Carson as my first one, Galladay and Carson as my 2, and Cooper and Carson as my 3. That's where I'm sitting. So at least we kind of cross over. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's where you stand? What?
Yes, that is where I stand.
Don't make fun of my accent.
It's not your accent.
You're right. I swiped it.
You stole it from William Wallace.
We have a question for Fredley Jimenez, and I love when Fredley joins.
1 second, we're not there yet. But just to wrap up for Bradley, I think for me, I would go Godwin and Carson of that. And
did you say Bradley because his name's Brady?
Brady. Shut up. We've been drinking.
You threw an L in there.
My bad. I hope we answered your question.
We discussed it in detail.
We did. Okay, Will Jenkins with one for us. Half-point PPR, flex. John Brown, Jarvis Landry, Ronald Jones, Sammy Watkins, or Mike Williams.
Okay, so we got to pick one. I mean, tell me. I mean, if you want me to rank all these, I can do that. But I mean, I'd rather just pick one. I don't trust the Cleveland Browns right now, so I'm eliminating Jarvis Landry.
Yep, same for me. I agree with you.
To be honest with you, I'm going to go Rojo. Rojo's the starter. Out-touched Peyton Barber more than 4-1 last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going against an Arizona Cardinals run defense that isn't all that good. So I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in that Arizona-Tampa Bay game. I'm going to go with Rojo.
No, I'm going to make this easy and go with Rojo as well. He's been named the starter. He had some great looks this week, and I think that they've got an awesome matchup against Arizona. He's an easy start for me. Okay. Jumping down our list of questions. Thanks, guys, for tuning in for all these questions.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is awesome. We've got so many. I can't wait to get to all of them. Okay, wait. So next, Fredley Jimenez. Thank you, Fredley, for joining us. Is Kareem Hunt taking over for Chubb as a starting running back? Will the Browns be better with him? I think this is quite a loaded question because in the back of the question is, will the Browns be better with him? I think the Browns need to do a lot to get any better at all. I do not see Kareem Hunt taking over Nick Chubb's job at all. I think they just need to fix the whole offense before we go worrying about who's taking away carries.
Get him.
I mean, there's just so many things that need to be done. Baker Mayfield needed to shave twice because he felt so dirty after that game. He just needed to clean himself and cleanse his body of what happened. So there are far more worries than just Kareem Hunt taking carries from Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb has been the bell cow for the whole year. And there has not been any talk of Kareem Hunt saying, or the team saying, yes, this is going to be our guy going forward. There has been none of that. Why? Because there's a lot that goes with that name. They're not going to attach anything to that name because no one wants to talk about Kareem Hunt. Yes, he was a really great running back, and he's also not a great person. So I think that if you have Nick Chubb, you shouldn't be worried about him starting until you get proven otherwise by game script. And that would mean the Browns need to be better at football, which they're not going to do.
So if you're asking me to trust the Cleveland Browns right now, my simple answer is hell no. Because the only thing that has been consistent the entire year on the offensive side of the football for the Cleveland Browns has been Nick Chubb, right? Hey, can we all agree on that? He's been the one effective part of this entire offense the entire season. And this offense was hyped up. Oh, they traded for Odell. Baker Mayfield threw 27 touchdown passes as a rookie. Jarvis Landry is going to be better. David Njoku is going to be better. Like,
everyone's going to be better. We were preaching this stuff and hype season. I think we both drank a little bit of the Kool-Aid this offseason because I remember both of us being excited because we're like, oh, all these weapons. This is going to be great. Baker time. This is going to be awesome. It has not been awesome. It's been horrible.
Yeah, it's been brown. It's been brown in my pants where it's been brown. It's been
Stop shitting your pants. Why are you telling our listeners that you shit your pants?
Because if I tell them to draft a given player, then I'm going to go ahead and admit that, hey, by the way, if they are taking a dump on your fantasy lineup every week, then I should admit that I shit my pants on a given week if I'm telling everybody to draft that player. So anyway, I don't shit my pants on a regular basis. I'm just going to go ahead and say on an uneven basis, I don't shit my pants at all. But anyway, now I'm going down a weird road. Baker Mayfield, though, has not thrown more than one touchdown pass in any game this season. The Browns' offense is a complete mess, and the big reason why is Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens cannot seem to figure out the best way to make this offense efficient. And that would make sense that Nick Chubb is the best player on this offense, even though he's having ball security issues. I could see in a world where they decide to go ahead and give Kareem Hunt a significant amount of touches just to see if he gives him some sort of spark, and it ruining some of Nick Chubb's fantasy value. But honestly, if you own Nick Chubb and he's your running back 1 or running back 2, or whatever price you paid for him, you're still starting him. You have to start him. I would not panic on him whatsoever.
No, he's a must start until otherwise proven guilty. Also, were you snickering because you said ball security?
No, that's a real thing. Like, you have to secure.
No, I know, but we are both very childish, so I thought you were snickering because you said ball security.
No, it had nothing to do with, saying the word ball. Don't drop my football. Boy, you must be outside your mind. We're going to do up downs until Blue is no longer tired.
You're welcome. Okay. Anyways, more questions. Thanks, guys, for all of these. Tyler with another one. With Haskin as his quarterback, yes. Dude hates throwing to Terry McLaurin.
It's true. Except the fact that we have to wait and see how Haskin actually looks as weekly starting quarterback. Right now, obviously, the Washington Redskins are a complete mess. But if we can start getting multiple weeks where he has an entire week of reps with the starting team, week in, week out, especially with his boy from Ohio State, Terry McLaurin.
I was going to say, aren't they former teammates? Like, I feel like he doesn't necessarily hate throwing to him. I think it's more just the coaching staff creating game script around his abilities to make sure that it matches up, and then having a whole week of practice to run it through, and I think it'll be better for him.
Give it some time. Just give it a couple of weeks. I mean, it's a rookie quarterback that's thrown into a horrible situation. So give it some time. It'll go better.
Let it simmer. Let it brew. I think it'll be
Let it marinate. Maritate.
Oh my God. Oh wait, this is awesome.
Are you working the board or what?
I'm working the board, but I wanted to read this one first. I'm supposed to take fantasy advice from a dude drinking casually out of a plastic Moet and Shandong wine glass.
I mean, Paul, I don't blame you if you say no. The answer to that question is no, because I don't want to follow the advice of somebody drinking out of that chalet. But guess what?
He's out of beer. He's out of beer.
I roll on Wine Wednesday. I mean, if all the glasses, I hate doing dishes, so I don't want to have to clean my wine glasses on a regular basis. So guess what? If this one is not dirty and I can roll with it, then I do.
Yeah, we're just lucky it's not like a red Solo cup that you're drinking wine out of. But at least you could pretend it was something else.
Let's have a party. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Tyler with another one for us. I like Galladay and Carson as well. I have Godwin in a lot of my other leagues, and he's great when he's going off, but his low weeks are rough. That's fantasy for you. I mean,
I was going to say I agree. Yeah, that's fantasy football.
I mean, that's just how it goes. You got to go with the odds. You got to go with the matchups, and I like his matchup this week. So it's tough, but that's why we love the game. If it was easy, maybe you wouldn't love it.
That's true. That's true. I think we have
Brady saying a quick thanks for us. You know,
Brady, thank you for joining us.
We definitely stumbled through that answer for you, Brady, but I hope we got you there. Chad Barrow's joining us. Thank you for joining us. Connor coming back this week, and is Samuel still an okay play even if he does?
We'll just take into account how much Samuels was fantasy productive when Connor has been active this year. So absolutely not. If Connor plays, then I'm not starting Samuels. But of course, the opposite is the answer. If Connor is inactive, then I'm starting Samuels.
And as a very avid Pittsburgh fan, I feel like I have not been shy about mentioning this. I think that the Steelers see a lot with Samuels, and I think that if Connor is still a maybe, that they will not push him further because he's been dinged up a lot this season. It's a shoulder now. It was a little bit of a knee, a little bit of an ankle earlier this year. He's been seeing a lot of dings this year, and I don't think that they want, I say like I'm part of the organization, but I totally am because I'm a fan. But I don't see them pushing him out there sooner than they need to. And Samuels has been great. So definitely check the inactives. And if he does start, I would maybe move Samuels out. But if he's not, Samuels is a surefire start. Absolutely.
And then we've got Nick Bird, who wants to go ahead. I could see a 6. Now, do you see this though? I'll ask because it's definitely a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Chubb seeing a 65%, like maybe snap count and 35% to Kareem Hunt. Is that what you see? Or do you see it being a little bit, 50-50, or do you see where do you see it being? Like somewhere in the middle or a little bit lower than that?
I feel like 65-35 is pretty good. If anything, I would say maybe 70-30, pushing it even further away, like just throwing him out there every once in a while. But I definitely don't see 50-50. It's got to be on the other end for me.
It shouldn't, because Chubb has been playing that well.
He's been playing that well, and you're not going to take away the one aspect of the game that you have that's working for you. I think that you're going to try a few things, might get cute with a few plays, but I don't think you're going to completely dismiss the only aspect of your offense that has been working, and that's Nick Chubb.
At a high level. So, no,
yes, at a very high level.
Now, I will preface this by saying that is what we think the Browns should do. The Browns have not proven that they are doing things that make any sort of logical sense offensively.
No.
So could we see a 50-50 split in game number 1 with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb? We could, because Freddie Kitchens is a jackass.
To put it scientifically speaking,
hot take.
Scientifically speaking, and a hot take, he's a jackass. Okay, sure. And Nick, one more for us. Sam, who all did you meet at ESPN?
That's a great question, please.
That is a great question. I didn't really jump into most of this, but this past weekend, I was very lucky in order to go and hang out in Bristol with some of my friends over at the Fantasy Focus podcast there. I hung out with Daniel Dopp. He's an awesome guy. Got to hang out with Field, Matthew Berry, Stefania I got to see on Friday because it was they were recording the podcast on Friday, and it was National Jersey Day, so I actually got to be behind the scenes, and everyone was wearing jerseys. We took a picture together. That was a lot of fun. Monday, I was on campus all day, behind the scenes for the podcast there. Got to see how they write the show for Matthew Berry's fantasy show. That was really awesome. How they put the whole show together. That was really, really great. And yeah, it was awesome. And then actually got to sit behind the scenes as they were filming and get to see the whole production team, how they work, how news was coming in all day Monday, and how they had to change things as it goes on as news drops. And it was great to see how the whole just system worked. It was for anyone that loves sports, it was absolutely a day at Disneyland. It was awesome. And no, Nick, Matthew is not a narcissistic jerk in any way. And it sucks that you see him that way on TV, but he's an absolutely sweet, awesome guy. He's super genuine. He's really funny, and not in like a cheesy way, trying to be funny or dad joke way. He's just a genuinely funny and then good-hearted guy. He's awesome. So I can definitely say he raises the bar for me on people that I've met in the industry. He's just a super sweet guy and very genuine with his time, and it was awesome. So I've hung out with them before. I got to go see them a couple of years ago. I'm really lucky that they seem to like me and remember me. So it was awesome. in a nutshell. That is my story in a nutshell. Was that a nutshell? I feel like I kind of dragged.
Well, hold on. I want some more.
You want some more
details? Did you hang out with them outside of the studio? Did you get to do anything like social fun with them? And did they give you any good stories?
I hung out with Daniel mostly, and he gave me a lot of great stories, just of how they all work together and how they're all really genuinely friends outside of everything that they do together. So
you can tell what their interaction.
Yeah, they're all super genuine with how they act, and what's awesome is how they equally give each other shit off camera, and it's all just good games and fun the whole time. So it was awesome to see that, especially the other guys behind the glass, like Keith and Kyle, are behind the glass there, and they're always on the show like in little bits. They're super funny guys, and everyone's on top of their stuff back there. Everyone knows so much. It was very intimidating at times, actually, because they're like, Sam, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know what I think. I care more about what you think. So
okay.
Although I did give them my take. I gave them my takes on everything. It was just a little bit like intimidating. Being
someone, so hold on. Like, I'll go ahead and say that Field Yates is one of my favorite folks in all fantasy, like the entire fantasy community. I respect his opinion. I respect his work ethic. And not to mention, he's kind of bridged the gap between fantasy football, and he shows up on NFL Live on a regular basis. So he's doing some things as like an actual like NFL analyst. And I love everything about Field. Field's a great guy.
He's super funny.
Whether you enjoy their fantasy takes nowadays or not, these guys are great dudes that I love listening to, and I grew up on, to be honest with you. Like, Matthew Berry was the first person that I ever remember like weekly going to see what his weekly take was on players. Like, Matthew Berry is a legend in the fantasy community, so I respect that's awesome that he lives up to everything I would hope he would be. Going through you, Sam, because I trust you as a good judge of character, and your experience with him. Like, that's awesome. Like, I expected nothing less from Matthew Berry. He seems like a pretty genuine-hearted, good-hearted dude that just loves fantasy sports, and we all love fantasy sports here.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I know that Matthew has that kind of negative perception with a lot of people, but I say,
why? I don't know.
To that I say, heavy is the crown, Like, he's the godfather of what's created this giant pyramid of everything that we're feeding into in fantasy news and everything. He was kind of the pinnacle of what's been building all of that. So I understand why he gets so much hate.
Everybody wants to take the top spot.
Everyone wants to take the top spot. I get it. So heavy is the crown for me. And I just have to say, personally, he's been nothing but perfectly sweet and genuine with me, and an awesome guy. So love the experience. Very, very grateful for that. So,
and Field Yates has actually showed up on our normal podcast here on Fantasy Focus, like on a couple occasions. And being someone that like I've actually been, trying to get into the media. I've actually just now started like in being a TV sports anchor. Like, whenever I've reached out to Field Yates, that man has always been nothing but like responsive and giving me critiques, feedback. That man is popular enough to where he doesn't have to give me a minute of his time, and he's still incredibly successful. So the fact that someone like that's on his level is even willing to give me a mild minute of his day, it's just incredibly gratifying. And like, I'm humbled by someone that's on his level and is as good as he is at what he does. There's a reason why he's one of the best of the best. So I got to give a big shout out to that entire Fantasy Focus crew. They're absolutely fantastic over there at ESPN.
No, they've been amazing and very, very gracious with their time with us, especially on our show. And Daniel, we had on just a couple weeks ago, and he was great as well. He's a gem, and you're gonna keep seeing this guy everywhere, because he's just his
good.
Knowledge is insane.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's super good. He's so funny, and he's just got that casual good humor about him. He's just so funny. So you're gonna be seeing a lot more of him on ESPN, I guarantee you.
Nick Bird says he's really glad to hear that. I've always really liked all of them. And by the way, I've never gotten the chance to interact with Mike Clay. Mike Clay is a big dynasty guy, and he's a big. No, I don't know.
He is.
Meet Mike Clay.
I did not. He was the one guy I didn't get to meet, and it was just because of scheduling. He happened to not be on campus the times that I was there. We were actually supposed to go bowling with him on Monday night, but because recording the show went late, we ended up missing bowling, so we didn't get to go and do that. But yeah, I mean, I've interacted with Mike. He's also a super, super kind guy. And again, so generous with his time and giving feedback and hints and critiques. So all of them are really great dudes. And it's also great just to have, that relationship with people that are so humble and also so kind in that industry. They don't need to talk to us. They don't need to talk to us. We're lucky when any of us, if they're lucky, if you get a reply, that's awesome. But the fact that they give us our time is awesome, and also so inclusive of what the fantasy community has been. At least for me, everyone's been so open and invited me on different shows. And I know the same for you, Derek. Like, it's just been a very humbling, and everyone just wants everyone to be lifted up. So it's been awesome. I haven't experienced anyone being outwardly negative from the community in that way to me. So I've been very grateful for that.
No, of course. And we breed positivity here on the Fantasy Debate with Sam and Tate. So
we're glowing right now with our.
And it's the debate of debates, Andrew. I 100% agree, my friend. One of my boys up here, up in Cadillac, Michigan. So, but no, it's been. I mean, we continue to do some fun things here. So, is there anything else you want to talk about before we sign off? We are all caught up on the listener questions. And if there's any other debates you want to go ahead and try to challenge me on while I drink out of my, how do you even pronounce it? Moet and Shan?
Yes. I mean, I don't think I have any other debates to bring up. I mean, we've kind of covered a lot, but Tyler throwing this in there. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you here. Glowing with positivity or glowing because wine? And my tongue purple? I think my tongue's a little purple. Yeah.
Or the bright red face of my lighting. I got to fix my light.
I know. My wine glass matches your shirt too. We're just totally on brand today.
Now I'm having LaCroix. I gotta
change
the down in my face.
Oh my God, you gotta change something. My God. The only other thing I wanted to bring up, when we talked about Ronald Jones already, just as a waiver wire pickup, I think he's a great pickup this week. How do you feel about Kalen Ballage? I want to talk to him about a little bit, just because again, 6 teams on a bye. Have a drink. We're kind of struggling at the running back spot with so many players out. Do you see anything for him this week?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, who can you name a person that's going to take touches away from him that you feel confident saying that will take touches away from him? I'm asking you.
No, because Mark Walton's suspended.
Correct. So ultimately, we are going to see a lot of Kalen Ballage this week. And I mean, the man has averaged 2 yards a carry this entire year. So there's not much to get excited about at the current moment. But look, sometimes to steal a term from the NBA, he's probably going to be a volume scorer this week. He's going to be someone that probably gets you, like in a standard format, maybe 5 points. In a PPR, 8 points, probably catch 3 passes, something like that, to be able to give you someone to plug into your flex or even a running back 2 if you're in a really, really, really tight pinch. So for me, he's worth adding and starting this week.
Definitely worth adding and starting for me as well. And just to run through a couple of the booms of the week that did well, Marvin Jones, he had an awesome week with 126 yards, a touchdown, and 8 receptions, 26.6 fantasy points. Love that. Tyler Lockett. I mean,
Tyler Lockett. Do you even know what I'm quoting when I say that?
Nope. Do not.
Davy Crockett song. Come on, continue.
Anyways, I mean, for me, Tyler Lockett is locked in for the rest of the season as Russell Wilson makes his MVP charge. He's going to be nothing but the beneficiary of all those targets.
If it ended today, Russell Wilson would be the NFL MVP.
He would?
At the halfway point. If it ended at the halfway point of the season, right now, he is the NFL MVP. 22 touchdowns to 1 interception. And he's 3rd in passing yards. He's the reason why the Seahawks are 7-2. I mean, if you take him off that football team, no disrespect to Tyler Lockett or any of the other pass catchers or players on that team, they become a very below average football club. So for me, it's Russell Wilson. I mean, you can make a case. You can definitely make a case for like Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, but to me, it's Russell Wilson in a landslide.
Russell Wilson in a landslide. That would suck to see him in a landslide. I hope that never happens to him.
Lock it up. He's a wide receiver 1 for the rest of the year, according to Sam.
Lock it up.
I think he's easily a top 12 option on most given weeks.
Yes, any given Sunday. The other boom I had to talk about, which I'm wondering if this might be an outlier game for him, was Damian Williams. He had 12 carries, 125 yards. He averaged 10.4 yards per carry with a touchdown. He had 2 cute little receptions. So PPR, that matters. But, I mean, the week before he had 9. The week before that he had 2.6. To me, this is a bit of an outlier week for him.
It's definitely an outlier week. But, I mean, do you really
at Tennessee this coming week?
Do you trust Shady McCoy to get a heavy workload?
Do you trust someone that's named Shady? No, you don't.
Or Darrell Williams, for that matter. Damian Williams, despite him certainly having durability issues this year, when he has been healthy and when he has played, he's shown the most pop out of this backfield.
Yeah.
And if we're not going by name value or veteran presence, then I think he's the guy that should see the most touches out of this backfield. But Kansas City is very tough to predict right now. He's worth a flex roll of the dice. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, flex roll of the dice, sure. But if you have any better options with a better matchup, I would bench. This was a great week, but definitely an outlier. At Tennessee, their defense has been pretty good. Not loving that. So for me, I definitely an outlier of a week, but something to mention, because when these players do blow up, you think, okay, great, they're set it and forget it. They're not. You have to look by matchup. You have to look for the whole season. You can't get too excited. You can't get too excited. And as Tyler chimes in, KC backfield is so damn scary.
It is. It sucks. I hate it. It's so tough to trust. It's so tough to trust that backfield.
Yeah.
No, it's a nightmare to try to, if you put in Shady, if you had Shady and Damian Williams, who would you start?
If you had both?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I would start Damian Williams, but
do you feel good about it?
No, I wouldn't sleep about it. I'd be.
Coy started last week.
Ugh, no. Why are you saying these horrible things? I don't want to feel this.
It sucks. It doesn't give you the feel goods. And I'm sorry, we got to tackle the topics that don't give you the feel goods.
Yeah, no feel goods there. So I hope that we answered all of you guys' questions this week. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you again for all of your lineup questions. If you have any more, please go ahead and hit us up on Twitter. We're also on Instagram. Wait, Tyler trying to get one last one in there real quick. I dumped Shady to a Mahomes owner. I sent him Waller and Josh Allen for Uncle Lenny.
Oh, that's a win. That's a win. Oh, well, I mean, hold on. Waller, though. Waller's been
really good. So you must have had a different tight end in order to give him up.
Of course, I like Leonard Fournette because of just the requisite volume, but the man's only scored 1 touchdown the entire year.
Yeah.
Waller the baller. I wish I was a little bit
taller.
I wish I was a Waller.
Thank you guys for putting up with us despite Wine Wednesday. Again, if you have any more fantasy questions for us, hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Samantha R. Holt. Derek is at dtater4 on Instagram. I am at Sam_awesome because I can't have things consistent, but Derek is the same thing on all social medias, so he is at dtater4. Please hit us up with any other questions you might have. Thank you again for joining us. We will be here for you every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. And Derek, do you have anything else for us?
Yes, if you can, depending on wherever you digest your podcast, whether it be iTunes or Google Play, Spotify, of course, now you can find us on iHeartRadio. If you are just coming across our show for the very first time, go ahead and subscribe, drop us a review. We really appreciate any and all the support. And until next time, later, says the Tater.
Bye, guys.